Inglewood City Council meeting, can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Place your right hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, could you call the roll?
A quorum is present.
Before we start, we have a proclamation for Lupus Awareness Month. Whereas lupus is an autoimmune disease that affects more people than AIDS, cerebral palsy, sickle cell anemia, and multiple sclerosis combined. 1 out of every 185 Americans has it. It's hard to diagnose and it mimics other diseases, and its sufferers usually do not get treatment until they have suffered with the symptoms for many years. And whereas lupus affects approximately 1.5 million Americans, where 90% of people diagnosed with the disease are women, and 90% develop it between the ages of 15 to 44, and it is 2 to 3 times more prevalent among people of color, including African Americans. Whereas the State Department of Health Services concluded in its 2008 data statistics report that death rates from lupus increased nearly 70% among African American women between the ages of 45 and 64. Possible reasons include an increasing later diagnosis, less access to health care, less effective treatments, and poor compliance with treatment recommendations. Each year during the study period, death rates were more than 5 times higher for women than men. Whereas Omicron Rho Zeta chapter of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority, Inc., Lupus Foundation of America, We Win Foundation, the Purple Rose Foundation, House Foundation, Lupus LA, and many other organizations in partnership with other agencies throughout the state have led the development of public health awareness strategy. Now therefore be it known, the mayor and council members of the city of Inglewood, California, do hereby proclaim the month of May as Lupus Awareness Month in the city of Inglewood. I believe Ms. Suzette Beeman is in the proclamation. Ms. Beeman, why don't you come over there by the TV? Madam Clerk, do we call the roll? Yes. Okay. Any persons wishing to address City Council on any item on today's agenda may do so at this time.
My name is Joseph Texera. Regarding the warrant register, I object to the city doing business with Willie Brown's paper Inglewood today because it's unethical for this council and this city clerk to use our tax dollars year after year to pay Willie Brown to mislead Inglewood's taxpayers to help you get reelected. This council and this clerk know that when you use our tax dollars to pay Willie Brown for city ads in his paper, you get the unethical personal benefit of Willie Brown acting as your personal publicist and attack dog. You know he will hide your misconduct, print nothing but good stories about you, even if those stories aren't true, and he will print nothing except bad stories about your critics, even if those stories aren't true. How do we know this? Well, 2 years ago, when Alex Padilla ran for city council against Councilwoman Judy Dunlap, Padilla paid Willie Brown to put his campaign ads in Brown's paper. And so Willie Brown did his job. He lied, deceived his readers, deceived Inglewood's voters to help Padilla get elected. He perverted the democratic process. Willie Brown deliberately wrote a libelous story about me, full of lies that he knew were lies because he had watched a video proving it. Brown hoped to defame me and then inaccurately link me to Dunlap. The city should not do business with Willie Brown because last week, Brown officially exposed himself as a liar for hire. I call your attention to Inglewood Today, page 5 on the editorial page of last Thursday's Inglewood Today, right next to Willie Brown's picture, where the title reads, quote, "Story Retraction." This retraction proves that in May of 2013, when Alex Padilla was running for city council, Willie Brown deliberately lied to his readers. He lied to Inglewood's voters, deceived them for money to help Padilla get elected. Brown concocted a story saying that I worked for Dunlap, that I broke the law and stole Padilla's campaign flyers from a restaurant and then ran out of the restaurant with the flyers and then destroyed them. All outside somewhere, all lies. However, after 2 years and 3 elections, Brown now admits that there was no proof that I ever supported Dunlap, let alone worked for her, that I did not remove the flyers from the restaurant, that I did not destroy them, and that, to quote the retraction, quote, "no crime was committed," unquote. Most importantly, Willie Brown's admission of his devilishly un-American wrongdoing, his admission that he lied to his readers, lied to Inglewood's voters, finally exposes this council and this clerk as crooked politicians who knowingly use our tax dollars, the money that we pay, to pay Willie Brown to lie to us, to mislead us, to deceive us, to pervert the democratic process. You know that he lies to help you, but you keep paying him. You all disgust me.
Thank you, Mr. Tigger. Any further public comment?
Roy Fisher, the First District, with regard to this item 4 on this agenda. You know, I see where you have gotten rid of a proposal that was for the summer food program for $200,000 for 2 months of food service. And again, you go back to your boys, the Faithful Central Church, First Church of God, Inglewood Christian Center. You know, it seems to me that you them are always in the pockets of these same people. And as far as that amount that you have there, I don't know what that is for the salaries. I don't know, it's $10,000 or $100,000 or whatever it is for the salaries, but it's kind of jumbled there in those numbers. So I was wondering about that. You know, with regard to finances of the city, I was wondering, it's common knowledge that Mayor Butts gave more than $100,000 to a couple of the council people up there. And I was wondering if that money had been paid back. I hope that it has.
It has nothing to do with the
I hope that
finances
it
of the
has,
city.
because I'm concerned that some of these people vote just to placate you, I guess, with regard to
Mr. Fisher,
with
that would be
regard
something
to
more appropriate
the
in your
monies
last minute.
that they owe you.
Mr. Fisher, that is more appropriate than last minute. Is there any further public comment?
Good evening, council members. As we look forward to, and I'm assuming we still have the budget update on the agenda. It wasn't pulled, was it?
Still on the agenda.
Okay, good thing. I do have a few concerns, and anytime we say that we have delayed, and then we have the issue with kind of not noticing we have that encumbrance, and then delaying it, that's the thing, that it is still an encumbrance. It is still a deficit if we haven't paid it. It is not a deficit, it is still an outstanding balance until we have in fact paid it. So sometimes I think we are not necessarily presenting things as, isn't that cute, as they would be in a normal accounting situation. Thank you.
Okay, close public comment. Item 1, open the Housing Authority and the successor agency.
Quorum is present.
Item 1, CSA 1 and H1.
Warrant register.
Move allow payments of the bills.
Madam Clerk.
Council and agency members Dodson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Chairman Buds.
Aye. Item 2.
Approval of the minutes held on March 10th and 17th, 2015.
So moved. Second.
Madam Clerk.
Council members Dodson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. Consent calendar items 3 and 4.
Move approval.
Second.
Madam Clerk.
Council members Dodson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. DR1.
Fiscal year 2014-15 mid-year report.
Is there a report, Mr. Fields?
Yes, our CFO's Assistant City Manager, David Esparza, will give the staff report.
Welcome, Mr. Esparza.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members, members of the public, and elected officials for the city of Inglewood. Today, I'm presenting the mid-year budget review report. As is customary, we do this on a quarterly basis, although let me acknowledge that we missed the last quarter of last year, so that that doesn't become an issue. But let me start this year with the mid-year report. Each one of these reports starts with the snapshot that we've used time and again, and it gives just kind of a very quick summary of the information that we'll be following. As you can see in the this year, and by this snapshot, let me get my notes here. Property taxes are up a net 3.8% over the this period of 2013-14. And I say a net because there is a bit of a offset with the timing of our property taxes in this report. Sales tax, I'm happy to report, are up 8%. This has been one of the strong performers for the city for the last year and a half. Our sales tax have continued to grow, and again, they're up 8% for the first 6 months of this fiscal year. Building permit fees are down. This was in the past report. This was being led by a lot of the activity out of the residential sound insulation program. That program had a stall for a few months as we continued to negotiate with LAWA for the next release of their grant funds. Utility users taxes. This has been trending down for about the last half year to a year, and it's down 0.4%. A slight decrease, but still we want to keep this up on the forefront so that we realize that these revenues are starting to trend downward. Hotel tax, the transit occupancy tax, is again another one of our strong performance. This was the same in the last first quarter. I think the number for the first quarter was up 19.6. They're up 17% over the same period last year, so they continue to be very, very vigorous in that. Unemployment in the region is down. In Inglewood, it dropped another 0.2%, which is, again, a very good sign and points to the sales taxes and property taxes. City expenditures are under budget through the first 6 months of the mid-year report. This is where we started the year, as I like to remind everybody, because although the news is good, we still are not totally out of the woods. We started with revenues of $79.8 million against expenditures of $89.2, leaving a shortfall of approximately $9.4 million. And the budget that was passed in October contained 3 strategies: the use of general fund reserves of $8.4 million, freezing vacant positions to save an additional $713,000, and election reimbursements from the county of $200,000. We continue to hold positions vacant throughout the city. Right now, we're currently carrying 5 vacant positions, which the projection through the end of the year at this particular point would create a savings of $627,000 against the anticipated savings of $713,000. So we're running behind our savings at this particular point on personnel, but that we can, make that up by the end of the year with additional retirements and such. This is the way that we measure our progress throughout the fiscal year with the budget. You can see that during the first period there, October, November, and into December, we look at variances of 10%. Then we tighten it up in December, through February and March to 7%, and then down to 5%, 2%. And you can see that as we get closer to the end of the fiscal year, we really try to hold our variances between the expenditures and revenues to no more than 1%. As we've done in the past, we have done very well in that respect with the frugal management of city expenditures from both the council and the city manager. We have come in under budget in the last 2 years. Mid-year general fund performance, revenue performance, gives you this, and you can see that at this particular time, total general fund revenues are at 58%. Now, if this was proportionate throughout the full fiscal year, this would be at 50%. However, one of the things I always remind the council and the audience is that, our revenues don't come in on a very equal basis throughout the year. We get large revenue deposits on property tax in December and March, and we get sales tax in January and April. And so those those kind of large deposits into our accounts, the city accounts, kind of tilt the collection of revenues a little bit disproportionately during the first half of the year, and then that balances out by the third and fourth quarter. But it is good to know that we are on track for where we'd want to be at this particular point of the year. And you can see in this slide, in comparing the first 6 months of 14-15 with the first 6 months of 13-14, we've actually exceeded our collections by about $2.5 million, which is attributed to that net increase of 3.8% that I talked about at the very beginning. Kind of as a summary then, the utility users taxes are down 0.4%. Sales tax are up $523,000 or 8%. Property taxes up $3.8 million. Other local taxes are up $72,000 or 12%. And so again, we're seeing the city kind of in that upward trend and maintaining its those revenue streams that it is very dependent upon. So then, as we look at the trend over the next the rest of the fiscal year, you can see here that we've tracked it for the first 6 months of this year, and that trend line, which is the solid line that goes up on the top, you can see that it's pointing, considerably above that dashed line with the square dots on it. Now, again, excuse me. This is a result of the heavy collection of revenues during the first half of the year, and I would expect that trend line, the solid trend line, to start tilting down and getting closer and closer to the actual projected line by the third quarter and surely by the end of the fourth quarter. So, but again, it shows that we are definitely in a positive position at this particular point in expectations for the rest of the year. Looking at the mid-year general fund expenditure performance, This also tells us that we are doing very well in holding down our expenses. As you can see here, expenses at this particular point at the 6-month period are 44% of the projected for the year. If this was a proportionate expenditure budget, through the year, we'd be at 50%. So we're actually 6% below what we had budgeted at the beginning. And again, this is a result of, the prudence and the oversight of the budgets by the departments, and then also, capturing salary savings from vacant positions. And again, here you can see this is the same trend chart that I produced for the revenue, and this one just shows the trends on the expenditures. The trend line, that solid line there at the underneath the dashed line, is the trend line, and you can see that if we continue on this trend, that we will be significantly below our projected expenditures by the end of the year. Again, I always caution the council and the audience that the summer months have not hit upon us yet, and so the expenditures in Recs and Park, Public Works, and other departments, will start to trend up during the summer months because they have the summer programs for the children and the adults, and then we start doing a lot of the street and road repairs during the summer months as well. So when we see this at the end of the third quarter, the gap in those two lines will be less, as those lines tend to come together at that point too. As a summary, police and fire services are down at this particular point of $2.5 million, or 5.6%. Economic and community development is down $596,000, or 15%. Parks and Rec, again, this is what I was talking about, is down about $1 million, or 12%. And then Public Works is down $1 million, or 12.8%. And again, we would expect this to start increasing as we get into the summer months. As a quick look at the special funds, although we focus primarily on the general fund because that tends to be the bread and butter for the city, the special funds are funds that support specific activities that are supported by fees and revenues that are specifically assigned or allocated to those activities. Special funds, this shows that our revenue collections are less than 50% at this particular time. They're at 43%. But then, as you can see below, the expenditures are also less because they're at 33%. Again, these are funds that you can spend only when you get them for the purposes of the specific activity. Questions, please.
Just to reiterate, Mr. Esparza, we neither spend money on a linear basis nor do we take in tax receipts on a linear basis. So they have peaks and valleys, and so that's why a trend is just that. It's an estimation of if things continue the same, but we know from experience that it will not be the same.
That is correct, and that's very important that we all understand that, so that we don't want to get ourselves into a negative position at any point during the year, because we are dependent upon those revenues, and until they actually come into our coffers, then they're really not here yet.
And where are we with our unobligated reserve funds right now?
The
Unobligated.
Unobligated? Currently, we're at about $34 million.
All right, and that's up from $11 million 4 years ago?
That is correct.
All right, thank you very much. Quick question from Councilman Morales.
You mentioned that we were 6% under expenditures, right?
Yes.
I'm assuming, is that for personnel or goods and services, and would that mean that towards the end of the year, we'd be 12, or how am I understanding that?
No, you're correct. We're under the 50% on an equal proportionate expenditure basis. However, as I caution that the summer months are coming, so, we will start to see increased expenditures in public works, recs and park, police services even, because of special activities.
Yes, just.
Councilman Padilla.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for your presentation and your staff report. Like I mentioned to you yesterday, I really appreciate the thoroughness in your staff report. And, when you're forecasting where we're at as a city, it's important to be reminded that these numbers aren't always going to reflect, real time today. You have to think about future expenditures, seasonal expenditures, as you mentioned, the summer months coming, projects that we have standing, waiting to begin, street projects, street improvement projects that are going to impact our budget. So it's also important for us to understand as a council, looking at our budget, making sure we have a strategic financial plan. And your department has really helped us through that to make sure that we're able to meet the needs of this community.
Thank you very much. And also to your point, Mr. Padilla, we talk about the unobligated reserves that we've been able to start putting aside. And, some people may say, well, why don't you just use those? Well, the idea is that this council and the city manager has been very prudent in their approach to the use of one-time funds.
Correct.
To put them aside and use them for one-time expenditures. And so not to just start using them again for ongoing expenses, because as you deplenish those reserves, they don't come back just as a result of, time and what have you.
Yeah, and I got to mention, the mayor, to his credit, will send us articles to read, talking about what other cities are going through financially, so that we can continue to keep our foot on the gas and move in a positive direction, and not think that just because, our forecast is looking positive, we can now go back into that spending mode. We got to continue to hold the line so that our future, as I mentioned a minute ago, our strategic plan for our future financial stability is one that is positive, and it's going to be good for our community in the long run, 5, 10, 25 years from now, to be able to do improvements that are going to impact all of us. Thank you, Mayor.
Mayor.
Councilman Franklin.
Yes, I want to reach out to the city manager because you gave the initial presentation for the budget with the support of your staff. And so what we're getting today is a reflection of your due diligence with your staff's continuity. And I just want to say thank you, city manager, for keeping steadfast that we're on track with the budget. And we appreciate Mr. Mr. Esparza giving us the presentation for the finance part of it, but it is actually a team effort of all the departments doing their contribution of actually making sure that we're staying on target. We are cutting costs where what's necessary, and that we don't duplicate some of the efforts. And also the fact that with the cost-saving measures that you introduced originally in the budget, we're still holding steadfast with that, and we're well on track, far from what we have been before. And I just want to thank this council, particularly the mayor and his leadership, to make sure that we address these issues, particularly the one that I always deal with, and that's debt servicing. And that we've addressed that tough issue. We're still handling that issue, but we are far better than what we were the year before. So thank you. Job well done.
Thank you, Mr. Esparza. A1.
Thank you, Mayor. There's no oral reports from the city attorney's office.
CM1. DC1.
No
Madam City
reports,
Clerk.
Mayor. Thank you.
DT1, CSA1, H2, and could you open the Finance Authority, Madam Clerk?
A quorum is present. Report for the month ending on March 31st, 2015.
Receive and file CT2, Madam City Treasurer, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I know what I said in the executive conference room, but I was just kidding. My treasury report as of March 31st, our total cash investments is $89,861,283, and the debt service interest earnings is $31, and the interest earnings is $49,440. And I like to, point out to the those that's attending, and also this will be on the internet as of Friday. For the city of Inglewood, the checking and savings is $6,999,948. That's mostly to pay bills. And the money market, we have $340,340 there. But particularly when you take a look at what's in LAIF, what's in our state pool, it has not had that kind of balance for a long, long time, which goes towards our reserve also. $35,203,651. These are uninvested funds that I could invest, but because the market, of course, is pretty low now, the rates are pretty meager, so I'm very cautious to what I invest in. That's why I've been buying mostly CDs. But anyhow, $35,203,651 as of March 31st. It's a little higher now as of April. And CDs is the $1,762,207. And the investments with the fiscal agent, $3,132,593. And the bond securities, these are the bonds that I've actually invested, which is $42,431,544 as of March 31st. But the actual bonds that has been invested, because some of them have been called, meaning that they have matured or they have been called away from me, and they're now $37,976,650 is what's currently there. Successor agencies is $100,714,872, and the debt service earnings is $9,585. Housing Authority, $100,806. Public Finance Authority, $13,509,427, and the debt service is $1,556. The total portfolio for the city, the successor agencies, the Housing Authority, and the Public Finance Authority is $204,186,388. Not bad, not bad. Again, the report is on the table outside. Please take a copy of it, because, I've spent a lot of time putting this together compared to what we had when I first became treasurer. We have here about an 8-page report with graphs and all things that make it even more readable. So be sure and pick up a copy. And normally I would not take my full time, which I'm not going to take my full time. I'm leaving 6 seconds on the board. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Madam Treasurer. Public comment, any persons wishing to address the council on any matter connected with city business not elsewhere considered on the agenda may do so at this time.
I hope you have PBS back on. You should have told us. My name is Alfonso Parker Jr. I'm veteran, 6667. So a conscious objector. Our military records, ever since 1945 with the defeat of Hitler, have been deliberately trashed, altered, deleted, and sanitized by Special Ops National Security. It's their job. They were created June of 1945 to trash your lives, completely deny you ever served your country, to show you how bad she is, and I know and I know what she does. She birthed the CIA in September of 1947, and she erased it. So you know what national security is. Barack Obama, Maxine Waters, Albright, Condoleezza Rice, all of them, Robert McNamara, they are treasonous. When you mess with federal documents, you are committing treason. These are not ethical issues.
We're at time, sir.
I get one more?
No, sir, not today. Thank you.
You're a part of it as a past police officer, too.
Thank you.
My name is Joseph Texar. I want to make a couple of complaints. First, there's still campaign signs, Yvonne Horton's, around the city. They should have been taken down. But when I called code enforcement, they said they were afraid to take some people's signs down because they might lose their job. So that's pretty scary. Second thing is that in the last 2 weeks that Willie Brown printed the retraction saying that he lied in a previous paper, for some reason, even though Inglewood today, you used to always be able to get them on the counter, now they're still stacked underneath the counter. So people can't get them. So that's a coincidence. These are legal notices, and they're supposed to be available to the public. You'll never hear me say Inglewood today should be available, but I'm going to say it now. They're not available. They're being hidden underneath the counter. I asked the lady, and I told her, you know, if you're not here after hours, people can't get them. And she knew that, and she still kept them underneath the table.
Hello. Peace is everybody in the community working together for the government, not for the government, but for our own goods. Like me, myself, I was born, you know, at Sentinel Hospital. I was born, you know, in poverty. And the government has been helping me my whole life, like, because government helps you with Medicare, they help you with food, the government helps you with schooling, help me go to school. Government's done a lot, and God says, you know, trust in your government, obey the laws of the government where we live, and I think that's what we should continue to do. And when you hear somebody say something bad about our government, try to take up for it as much as we can. Like, wear the American flag as a cape.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, and staff. Ray Davis, 2nd District. It's good to see everybody again. Normally I'm at work. But quickly, I just wanted to, in the time that I missed, blatantly congratulate everybody who was reelected. Congratulations, and I expect you to serve your constituents well. That's what we elected you for. And while I'm up here, I just wanted to make something public that I said semi-privately at my councilman's town hall meeting. Mr. Padilla, repeat it. Glad you got elected. Because I finally sat down and took a long, hard look. Yeah, I looked on the web and everything, and I looked up your pedigree. We need you now. It was almost prophetic. With what you are expert in, we gotta have you. So stay healthy, stay out of trouble. And quickly, if I can take 10 more seconds.
Yes, sir.
Mayor, you were at that town hall meeting, you said something really deep about common sense. I hope you will repeat it tonight, and maybe we can all learn something. And I hope you're true to it. Thank you, I'm praying for it.
Council members, this week you lost one of the most significant people of this community, and I would hope that you would be willing to dismiss this meeting in honor of Charlotte Spalding Price. Her family came here in 1894, pretty much before there was anything of a community. Those individuals were the individuals who put the first mercantile on our streets. They were the ones who gave us our first pharmacy, our first theater, and continued to serve this community in almost every position in this community, from Park and Recreation Commissioner as Charlotte to planning to city clerk, Eula Spalding, who served for many years after her husband passed away, always elected with a nice majority, served us for all of their lives, continued to live in our community and still own property in this community. It is unfortunate that frequently those who've come before us and who created our community are dismissed without regard, and I would hope that you honor the legacy of the Price, Spalding, as well as the Heath and all of the cousins that are part of the families that created this community.
My name is Willie A.G., and I live in the beautiful city of Inglewood. You don't need, we don't have a seniority list here as to how long you live in this city. one citizen of Inglewood is just as important as the one that lived here for 90 years. That's the way I see it here in the city. I want everybody to know that I think Willie Brown's Inglewood Today newspaper is one of the finest in the South Bay. It's an Inglewood paper, and tell the truth. I support them 100%. And you know, some people just go to the extreme. You know, they lose a council person, and they can never get over it. Everybody knows that Councilman Padilla has brought the second district out so far, and you know it was stalled for 20 years, and now it's a new district. And
Thank you, Mr. Agee.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
I was over looking at the deal on Redondo Boulevard there, and I saw these cars being unloaded over there and put in the old vault area over there. Whenever all these cars were down here at Hollywood Park, some of us and I had asked you them what were those cars doing there and were we being paid for it. You know, you've taken away that egress for the people of the city of Inglewood, in particular those people who live over there, but you now have allowed some car dealer or somebody to take that area and have cars parked all over the street over there. I just wonder if that was your deal all the way. You know, you have taken away from this city and given to the Metropolitan Transit Authority, and we get nothing for it but a train running through this city. I think it's wrong what you did to the people over there and to the people of Inglewood in general. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll close public comment. Are there any council comments? It's not mandatory. Go ahead. Councilman Dotson.
Thank you, Mayor.
I gave you appointments. Can we do that now, or do we have to schedule for next?
Well, let Dotson, and then we'll do it. Go ahead, Councilman Dotson. I'm sorry.
Oh, I get my time back?
Yeah. Not 1 second.
I was just letting the body know and the constituents that I took a tour of Hollywood Park construction site. It's amazing what they have done over there. I saw some of the biggest equipment I've ever had the pleasure to look at, but they're really moving some stuff around over there, and they're doing a very good job, so it won't be too long before they'll be digging the hole for the stadium. Last week, I told you about the first place winner of the Congressional Art Contest. I neglected to tell you about the second place winner, Jose Ortiz. He was the second place winner, and he was from Morningside High School. And his art will be placed in the Congressman Waters' district office for a year. I also want to let the District 1 people know that I will be holding a District 1 meeting at the ICOP Center at 2901 Manchester Boulevard this Saturday, May 16th, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. There will be representatives from Public Works, Police Department, and Hollywood Park tomorrow. So if you want to know anything about those three entities, you can get all your information there. So please come out. I want to also invite all of you to join with me and others, the American Cancer Society Relay for Life. This is a life-saving effort. If you hear it all, come out and join with us June 6th and 7th. And if you'd like to contribute, and I hope you will, please go online to relayforlife.com and register under Team Dotson. Thank you very much, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.
Okay, Councilman Inglewood Morales nominates, and I appoint Trish Crenshaw to the Senior Advisory Board.
Move concurrence.
Madam City Clerk.
Council members Dotson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. What I'm going to do is I have about 8 of these, so I'm going to do them all together. So they require only 1 second
For
everybody.
everybody?
Before.
Okay, is that good?
That's good.
Okay. So Councilmember Ralph Franklin nominates, and I appoint Dr. Lowenstein Irvin to the Aviation Commission. Hold your fire, everybody. Councilman Ralph Franklin nominates, and I appoint Vicki Banks to the Arts Commission. Councilman Ralph Franklin nominates, I appoint Linda Smith to the Citizen Police Oversight Commission. Councilman Ralph Franklin nominates, and I appoint Shibozo Walton to the Civil Service Board of Review. Councilman Ralph Franklin nominates, and I appoint W.G. Howard Jr. to the Construction Appeals Board. Councilman Ralph Franklin nominates, and I appoint Dorothy Cole to the Human Affairs Commission. Councilmember Ralph Franklin nominates, and I appoint Barbara Brooks to the Parking and Traffic Commission. Councilman Ralph Franklin nominates, and I appoint Fernando Meza to the Parks and Rec Commission. Councilman Ralph Franklin nominates, and I appoint Terry L. Coleman to the Planning and Zoning Board. And Councilman Ralph L. Franklin nominates, and I appoint Dolly Morrison to the Senior Center Advisory Committee.
I'm in concurrence of all.
Madam City Clerk.
Council members Dotson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Buds.
Aye. Councilman Padilla, did you have any comments?
Yes, just, bless you.
Thank you.
Just want to thank everybody for coming out. I know it was raining last Thursday evening to the District 2 Town Hall. We had a great turnout. A lot of good discussion took place. Want to thank the mayor for his welcoming remarks. Again, thank you all for being there. Also, it's been about a year since we've had the CERT emergency training for community emergency response training through the Assistant City Manager's Office, Michael Falco. We were able to organize a class that's coming up starting on June 3rd. If you're interested, please contact, you can give my office a call and we'll get you in the right direction at 412-8601. I want to thank Commissioner Braggs for volunteering to serve on that table at my council meeting. Very much appreciated. Also, this Thursday, the Inglewood High School students' art department is going to be displaying their artwork at the library from 4 o'clock till 6 o'clock. That's this Thursday at the library, so please come by and support our Inglewood High School students. Mayor, if you can please close in the memory of a longtime icon here in this community that has done so much for the city of Inglewood, not only her, but her family, and that's Mrs. Charlotte Price. Also, if you could close in the memory of a longtime resident here in Inglewood, one of my neighbors, Johnny Ingram. Thank you so much, Mayor.
Welcome.
Johnny Ingram?
Johnny, yes, last week.
Johnny Ingram passed away last week.
Councilman Franklin.
I just want to acknowledge that last night we had the first Community Development Block Grant Program meeting at the Beat Center or Police Community Center in District 4. Was well attended. People had a lot of questions and issues raised on how they recommended for the city and the department consider using federal funds to assist in home investment issues and community improvements. I also want to acknowledge that they also identified there's a new map that's available that is changing the boundary lines that originally was approved that we had in 2010. So there's a new ones for us to view, and they shared that information. So there's other communities or new community areas that normally was not covered or is now being covered under the Community Development Block Grant Program, and so you should attend the meetings. The next meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, tomorrow, at the District 1 Beat Center at 2901 Manchester at 6 o'clock, and then on Thursday, District 3 Beat Center at 129 West Albervita Street at 6 p.m. And then you could also attend on Monday, at the Police Community Center, District 2, at 943 North La Brea Avenue. And then I'll just read the other two, which will be Wednesday, May 20th at 11 a.m. at the Senior Center at Vincent Park at 330 Centinela Avenue. And then the final one will be Thursday, May 21st at 6 p.m. at the City Hall on the first floor. You can also go online. They have available that you can take the survey online and submit it, with the deadline being the end of this month. And I encourage you to take time to reevaluate how you'd like to see this council and this city to spend the money involving the community development block grant funds. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilman Morales. Excuse me, could we be quiet in the audience? Thank you, Councilman Morales.
I don't have much comments, just want to thank staff for the budget report. Wish Councilman Padilla a happy birthday. And my thoughts and prayers go out to Johnny Ingram's family. You know, he came out here plenty of times during my 12 years here. And, you know, while you don't always agree, you know, there are people who are committed to this city. And I just think it's great, so he'll be missed. Thank you.
I have to read a proclamation that we missed. CalFresh Awareness Month, whereas one of the highest priorities in Los Angeles County is to reduce food insecurity and improve health in the nation's largest county by increasing access and participation in the CalFresh program, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, formerly known as food stamps. Whereas the CalFresh program was created to safeguard the health and well-being of low-income households by increasing their food purchasing power and raising their levels of nutrition. Studies suggest that household hunger negatively impacts the intellectual, physical, and emotional development of children and puts them at greater risk for obesity, diabetes, and other diseases. And whereas in an effort to educate residents about CalFresh and healthy eating and remove the barriers that discourage eligible individuals and families from applying for assistance, the LA County Department of Public Social Services, DPSS, is collaborating with faith-based and community-based partners to implement the 5th annual CalFresh Awareness Month campaign. And whereas as part of the campaign, DPSS also works to publicize more convenient methods to apply for services through the use of an online application and a 24-hour DPSS customer service center. DPSS has also enlisted the Department of Public Health, local cities, supermarket chains, farmers markets, food banks, and school districts in sharing valuable information about nutrition, education, and the long-term benefits of exercise. Now, therefore, be it known that the Mayor and Council members of the City of Inglewood, California, do hereby join LA County in proclaiming May 2015 as CalFresh Awareness Month and urge all city residents to learn about and share information on the benefits of the CalFresh program with those who need it most, presented this 12th day of May 2015. And I want to close in the memory of Charlotte Price, and I believe you said Spalding was their hyphenation, and Johnny Ingram, both invaluable members of the community, as are all of our dearly departeds. We adjourn.